There can be absolutely no doubt about it. Rebuilding challenges have become ever more popular in recent editions of Football Manager. But to be frank with you, some of these saves have started to bend the definition of rebuild recently. Today, instead of suggesting that you rebuild a world-class or elite side that's just had a poor season or two, we're going to focus on clubs that have been relegated to the second tier of their respective football pyramids, who may provide a unique rebuilding challenge in FM26. Very quickly, before we do that though, a quick reminder that you can pre-order Football Manager 26 now via my Fanatical link. It's down in the description or up in the eye above. And if you add promo code LOADFM26 at checkout, you'll get an extra 5% off. Though if you click the links, it will do so automatically. With that out of the way though, let's look at the first of our chosen second tier clubs to consider rebuilding in FM26. First up, I think, is a pretty interesting one, and we're going to head to the Republic of Ireland, because as recently as the 2016-2017 season, Dundalk were trailblazers for the League of Ireland. They reached the European group stages for the first time that season, becoming the first club side from the Republic of Ireland to win a match and points in the European group stage fixtures. They also reached the group stages again in the Europa League as recently as the 2021 season. Just 4 years later though, the club was relegated to the second tier of Irish football. How on earth did we get here though? Because in truth, there hadn't been a great deal of warning. Despite being a club that had often flirted with financial troubles in the past, Dundalk was still producing relatively solid performances on the pitch until at least a year ago, and in fact even featured in Europa Conference qualifying the season prior to their relegation. Since then though, it has been a bit of an unmitigated disaster. The 2024 campaign saw problems aplenty both on and off the pitch. Firstly, on-field performances produced just 5 league victories, leading to a bottom place finish and relegation with just 26 points. In addition to that, there was a mid-season change of ownership required. American businessman Brian Ainscough was forced to sell following revelations of a €1.2 million loss in 2023 during the period he took over, with a risk of insolvency being threatened to the club. The ownership was passed on to a man called John Temple, the current owner, who then found himself in a bit of hot water, with a now ongoing court case relating to his actions on the day the club were relegated against Derry City last year. Your job is to try and rebuild Dundalk FC as quickly as they've fallen. Can you take them back to the top tier and the European group stages where they featured less than 5 years ago? It might be a little easier now with Europa Conference as well as Europa League football, but if you fancy trying, there are some good omens. Currently, midway through the 2025 season in real life as a winter-to-winter league, Dundalk are top of their division, showing that the squad has plenty of quality for the second tier of Irish football. They're also currently captained by experienced striker Daryl Horgan, who returned to the club in 2023 following successful spells in the EFL, SPL and for the Republic of Ireland international team. With familiar faces, experience and the favourites tag to live up to, can you take Dundalk back to where many feel they belong? For our second club, we move to a nation that I feel are going to feature a lot in these videos in a build-up to FM26, and we are talking about a Turkish side again, and it's gone very wrong very quickly for Civerpool. The club were seemingly only heading in one direction, celebrating Europa League group stage football in the 2021 season, followed by their first major trophy with a Turkish Cup victory in 2022. Then their first European knockout football as recently as the 22-23 season in the Europa Conference campaign. Even in the 23-24 season, when the last FM was released, the club finished in a respectable 7th place position, just missing out on European qualification once more. Last season though, a slow start left the club in relegation trouble, and a transfer ban announced by FIFA in February 2025 due to a failure to meet key financial and contractual obligations didn't help their cause either. Several key players departed from the glory years, and the new look side was left to battle for survival. They were unable to achieve success in this though, as eventually Civerpool were relegated in 17th place with 35 points. Of course, this has naturally been followed by the departure of several more key players, with the squad largely having to operate in the free agent market to source replacements. Of the 3 relegated clubs we focused on today, this is arguably the toughest one to start at, but despite that, English fans will have one familiar name to work with. Former EFL stalwart Alex Pritchard is still on the books, offering plenty of experience to help you get started, While I fear your early expectation will be merely to survive and stop the freefall, have you got the quality to guide Civerpool back to the top table of Turkish and European football? For our third and final club, we had to head to the UK. Just 4 years ago, very similar again, St Johnston were celebrating incredible overachievement, with manager Callum Davidson leading the team to a remarkable Scottish Cup and League Cup double, winning more trophies than Rangers or Celtic in that season. This put the side in Europe with 2 trophies and plenty of excitement for the future too. But what followed though? The inevitable. After agonisingly missing out on Europa Conference group stage football in the playoff round, the core of the team was ripped apart at the end of the summer transfer window, with key players such as Ali McCann and Jason Kerr sold for a profit to EFL clubs. What's worse about that? Callum Davidson was not given a penny to reinvest from those sales. The additions of loans and free agents were never likely to make the squad stronger, and it so proved that way, with the team struggling to replicate the efforts of the previous season. St Johnston eventually finished in 11th place and relied on the relegation playoff to retain their top tier status. This was then followed by a sea of managerial changes over the next 3 seasons, with the club finishing in the bottom 4 of the SPL table every single one of those years. Eventually, the inevitable happened again. In the 2024-25 season, St Johnston slumped to the rear of the table and were unable to lift themselves out, relegated to the Championship in bottom place, amassing just 32 points in the process. With disappointment though, comes the chance to rebuild. Former Derby player Simo Valakari has built a strong squad and playing style this summer, have had a pretty strong start to the season too. Could you take over the reins in FM26 and lead the club back to the top tier, before maybe trying to even replicate the overachievement of recent years once more? You've certainly got some players capable of doing the early part for you, but the rest is over to you. So those are just my top 3 second tier rebuilding challenges for Football Manager 26. Let me know if you're going to try a rebuild save this year, and if not, tell me who you're planning to manage first in this year's game. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date with much more FM26 content. Before our own saves, we've got plenty more save idea videos too, so turn that notification bell on to make sure you don't miss them. A quick reminder again that you can also pre-order the new game now via my fanatical link in the eye above and description below, adding promo code LOADFM26 for an extra 5% off at checkout. Thanks for watching this one as always, and I'll see you again soon for more FM26 save ideas.